Hey, everybody, what's going on? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom and your card of the week for the week of February 4th through the 11th. Got a little frog in my throat here. Why do we even say that? I don't eat frogs. Anyways, I digress. All right. So, a couple of themes for the week. We've got Mercury changing signs from Capricorn into the sign of Aquarius, making this even more of an Aquarian energy because Mercury will make an exact conjunction or canoodling, as I like to say, with Pluto, our power planet, right? So, we're going to talk about that. That happens early on in the week. We also have, like I say, our card of the week, which in my Celtic tarot deck, it is the Magician. And the High Priest is what it's called in my Celtic deck, but it is the Magician. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. And just a couple of quick reminders. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Jamie Dawn Show on 1-2 Radio. I'm excited because on Monday this week, I'm actually going to go live. So normally they're pre-recorded, and that's just to give me a little bit of freedom because I do have things I have to do on Mondays during my radio show time. If I can, I jump in the chat room and chat with you, but very often there's appointments already scheduled and things like that. And so it's just an opportunity for you to listen at any time because they are recorded and there's archives and replays and things like that. But on the 5th, on Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific on 1-2 Radio, I'm going to be live. So if you want to join the chat room, then just go to 1-2 Radio. You'll click on the chat button, and then Jay, our wonderful producer, can let you in. And I'll be there to interact with you. And who knows? I'll give you readings. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. Hello. One other big announcement. Those of you who follow me and know I am a huge Niner fan. Go Niners. We are going to the Super Bowl, which happens to be on Sunday, the 11th. I am not making a prediction one way or the other who's going to win. All I can tell you is may the best team win. If we play the way we did the last couple of games, we're in trouble. So Niners, pull your heads out of your asses and let's win. Go Niners. Okay. Now, let's talk about the card of the week first and foremost. So we have the High Priest, or shall we say the Magician, in the Rider Waite card, but our deck. But I love my Celtic deck. All right. So the words. The Magician brings you tools and resources. It's all about manifestation. We have all these elements that we have access to, and we can use them right here, right now, to be able to manifest our hopes and our dreams. Everything we need is right here at our fingertips. This is a beautiful reminder that this week in particular, we can take heaven and bring it into earth. And we can take these big ideas. This is the Aquarian energy. We can take wonderful progressive ideas and put them into something tangible, especially as we're going to have oppositions and squares going on with the Aquarian and Taurus energy. There's this square happening between, it's still a wide degree, but Mercury, as it makes its way through the sign of Aquarius, is going to square off with Jupiter in Taurus. So we've got air and earth coming together, creating tension, which offers growth. And then that's how we start to really work. We kind of roll up our sleeves, we get to work, and we say, okay, how do I take this progressive, this innovative idea? How do I take this thing, maybe my comfort zone that I'm breaking free of, and I'm doing it differently, or I'm stretching myself? How do I take that? What resources do I have to now manifest the next evolution or the next stage? The Magician reminds us, or the High Priest, that alchemy is at its best during this week. And what is alchemy? It's adding ingredients to see what works. Remember, I always say, life is a grand experiment. Let's just, throw some ingredients in and see. You never know. Now, it's a great time also to move forward on our ideas that we maybe have been milling around, maybe we've been talking about a little bit. This is a time to be able to take those ideas and talk about them, circulate them, and gather people, collaboration. Remember, Aquarius loves to collaborate. It likes spreading the wealth equally, right? So the wealth of ideas and seeing how many people we can get on board with our vision, and then then we can all manifest them together. So the one thing I will say is a cautionary tale is that we don't want to let our ego take over and let money drive us, or the motivation be of an ego-based motivation. It needs to be more about how can it benefit the greater good. Excuse me. All right. Sip of water. Water, the elixir of life. Okay, talk about another ingredient. Now, let's talk about what the energies for this week also complementing the Magician card. So I mentioned Sunday, late night Sunday, early Monday morning, depending on where you are in the world. Mercury ingresses or moves into the sign of Aquarius. So our thoughts, again, turn towards ideas that are more progressive. We might find ourselves in collaborative meetings, as I mentioned, conversations, and I think it'll be interesting to have these kinds of meetings and conversations or collaborations, because we can be more objective when Mercury is in Aquarius. Aquarius doesn't really attach itself to emotions or allow itself to get overwhelmed with emotions. As a matter of fact, Aquarius can be very matter of fact. And so it can make us more objective, which is good when we are putting our agenda together. And it's like, okay, I'm not attached to the agenda. This is just what I think might be of benefit. And so we may find ourselves, having conversations that move things forward, because we're not having to parse out or mollycoddle or nurture emotional kind of situations. One of the things that I hear quite often in my sessions is how, especially with my people leaders, is that they're doing much more managing of emotions than they are of getting work done. And that is part of the human experience, is we have emotions. That's what makes us, is kind of what sets us apart from many other things. And if we aren't emotionally stable or attached to something, then it's very difficult to get things done. So, we do have to manage, if you will, the emotional side of our well-being. And that can come off sometimes a little frustrating or seems like a waste of time. Well, with all this Aquarian energy, we'll have a little bit less of that. It's not to say we won't feel things, because, we're high sensitives and we're going to feel things, but it does give us opportunities to take a step back. And I like to look at it sort of as the observer, where we pull ourselves out of the situation and we look at it from the bigger view. And that allows our emotions to kind of stay not under the surface, but more in check, if you will. Now, on Monday, as I mentioned, Mercury makes an immediate conjunction or canoodling to Pluto in Aquarius. Remember that when planets are canoodling, they're hugging each other. They're basically saying, I'm Mercury, I'm Pluto. I'm Mercury, no, I'm Pluto. I'm Mercury, no, I'm not sure who I am right now. And so they can interact with each other in a way that we don't always know which one we're accessing, right? Well, during this time, Venus is also squaring off with Chiron. Now, Venus, our planet of love, beauty, harmony, relationships, values, making a square or tension aspect with Chiron, which is considered the wounded healer, but we often focus on the wounding part versus the teacher. And Chiron, because we know that the crack is where the light enters, right? The wound is where the healing takes place. It's where the learning takes place. And that's where Chiron emerges as the teacher. He's the teacher of Apollo, in mythology. And so here we have this planet Venus of relationships, values, finances, that sort of thing, making tension with the teacher. So we may be having really powerful mental Mercury, Pluto, mental conversations that lead towards healing in our relationships. We might have some very powerful moments where we take stock of what we've learned over the last several weeks, months, years through our own experiences. Think of them differently, because we want this Aquarian energy is sort of breakthrough or progressive energy. We think of things differently. We break free of old patterns. When Venus is squaring off with Chiron, some things from the past, some conversations from the past that may have been painful, maybe we didn't deal with them very well. It changed dynamics in our relationships. Now it comes back for us to be able to respond differently. There could be a struggle between what we think we want and the feelings where we're powerless in getting it, right? We may go, well, I want more of this. I feel like I'm missing whatever, I'm missing this person, I'm missing this relationship, I'm missing this finance. And I feel powerless. I don't have a new job, or I don't have ability to increase my income, or I can't make somebody love me or show up for me, right? So there could be a little struggle in those kinds of thought processes. And yet, what that struggle does is it leads us to creativity. It leads us to resourcefulness. Remember, the magician, we have the resources available to us to manifest. We just have to think out of the box. That's that beautiful Aquarian energy. When we also Tuesday moving into Wednesday, Venus will square off with the North Node and move into a trine with Uranus. So this gives us even more creative aspects and this restless feeling that says, here, I want to manifest something. Remember, I want to bring heaven to earth. I can't just do it because I'm sitting on my rock out here staring at the ocean kind of thing. I need to be able to have conversations, think differently. What resources do I have? What is it available to me that I'm not capitalizing on? Maybe I need to access that. I think about if you're in business for yourself and you're not tapping into your local community, get out and go into your local community, mix it up, network a little bit. That's one way to use a resource. Maybe there's a resource of excess food that you have. Maybe you come up with a new recipe and you share it with some friends and family. Like, wow, this is the bomb. You could make more money. You could sell this. Wow, I just think I might have a new idea for some income, right? These are ways that we can use this. Now, with this trine of Venus and Uranus, anything goes. And we may have this restlessness to express ourselves in relationship. We may have this nervousness that can be triggered for us. But what that does is it also allows us to be super heightened in looking for opportunities that may show up out of the blue. And these kinds of things give us even more opportunity to take our resources and use them for the betterment of all. Remember, Aquarius wants to be the humanitarian. So we're looking at ways, how can I be of greater benefit for not only myself, but for others? So if I'm going to create something new, or I'm going to draw to me this new opportunity and I want to manifest it, how is that going to benefit the greater good? Now, on Wednesday, Venus and Uranus have that exact trine, while Mars also sextiles Neptune. Sextiles are positive aspects for opportunities. That means there's a little bit of work that shows up that we have to, kind of work with. That means you have the conversations. You say yes when the opportunity shows up. But this also, when we have these cosmic lovers, if you will, Venus and Mars, that we may be feeling more generous and empathetic in our relationships. That offers us the ability to connect with others in a way that makes them feel good. As Maya Angelou said, people don't remember what you do for them. They remember how you make them feel and how you feel. And so we may be able to use the energy at the beginning of this week to really get some things done on a more consistent basis, bringing these dreams into a reality. There could be a windfall of a resource that also shows up that leads us to bigger things for our future. Like I mentioned, that creative expression is on an all-time high. Use it, because this all leads us into a new moon in Aquarius on February 9th, and it happens to be the Chinese New Year. The Chinese New Year is marked at the second new moon of the calendar year. And this time, we've got a Chinese New Year in the wood dragon. Now, I am not a Chinese astrologer. I won't pretend to be. I did a little bit of research around what this may mean for us. And what the Chinese astrologers are saying is that the year of the wood dragon, the dragon symbolizes power, strength, good fortune, royalty, wisdom, prosperity, all these wonderful things that we can really capitalize on. Now, I think it's a beautiful thing because we have had the shit kicked out of us over the last couple of years, right? We're ready for something to change. Now, what's going to help us? This new moon, squaring off with Uranus, is going to drive our intentions to be more authentic, Where can we be more independent? Where can we be more authentic, kind of have no fucks to give? How do we show up in the world? I would love to know, how do you express yourself in your own unique way that allows you to be proud of yourself, that allows you to say, yeah, you know what? I don't care that I come off in this certain way because that's my authentic self, you know? I'd love to hear it. Mention it in the comments. Let's have some dialogue around it. For me, my way of expressing myself, I talk with my hands, obviously. My partner loves to pick on me and say, "Can you just sit on your hands? Can you stop? Can you not move your hands and talk?" I'm like, "No, I can't talk. If I'm not moving my hands, I can't talk." Literally, it's very difficult for me. So, anyways, what's your creative expression? How do you do this? And also with this new moon, we're looking at ways that we have gotten too comfortable. We need to shake up the status quo, this restlessness that shows up, our intentions. Remember, we're planting seeds for the next 6 months that show up again, hopefully the manifestation at the Leo full moon. So here we are at this Aquarius new moon, next 6 months. How do you want to show up in your own unique way? Remember, we just came off of a Leo full moon. So I'm sorry, yes. So here we are looking at what we were releasing that blocked us from manifesting our heart's desire, right? Now we're setting intentions to say, I'm following my heart's desire. I'm ready to move forward. Where do I need to shake it up a little bit? Bring something new and interesting into it. And we want to make sure it lines up with our values, right? So remember, Venus and Mars are canoodling just a couple of days before, and we are looking at ways in which we are, they're not canoodling, but they're making aspects, one to Uranus and one to Neptune. We're looking for ways in which we stay in alignment with our values so that we can manifest the things that are of benefit to the greater good. Now, Saturday, February 10th, Mercury is going to square off with Jupiter. We have to be careful. We don't overpromise, underdeliver. So we're talking about all these intentions that we've set the day before. We're talking about, collaborating with others, manifesting. I can do this. I have this big idea, and I'm going to make sure that it happens in this way. And if you invest in me and you invest in this idea, then this is how big it can get and what we'll do. So just be careful that we don't overpromise, underdeliver. But the ideas that we have now have real staying power. And they can lead to bigger results if we're willing to take our time, if we're willing to collaborate, if we're willing to share the why. Why is this idea important? Why do we want to do what we're doing? Share that motivation, because motivation will help to anchor in and give your audience your bigger trust, because they understand why you are doing what you're doing or asking for what you're asking for, and then they can get behind it. So here we have some pretty big energies this week, some cool stuff happening, finding ways in which we can express ourselves in our own unique way, and giving ourselves over to that beautiful Aquarian energy that says, if I can be successful, if I can win, so can you. Let's do this together. And let me finish by giving a shout out to one of my favorite Aquarians whose birthday happens to be on the new moon. Happy birthday, dear Jenny. I love you. And I am so thrilled to celebrate another year around the sun for you. And thank you, everybody, for liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting on these videos. I'm looking to grow the audience. I would love for you, if you have somebody that would benefit from these videos, to subscribe. You'll get a notice in your inbox that says, hey, there's a new video out, and check it out. These are just little pins on the map, generalities. Yeah, that's the word. And that give you some idea of what you can focus on, because remember, where attention goes, energy flows. So if we're focused on manifestation, if we're focused on using our resources, remembering how magical we really are, we have the ability to create heaven on earth. We are doing that right now. If we can remember that and focus on that, then I want to hear how it manifests for you. All right, you guys, come find me at 12listen at jamiedawn.com. Remember, I'll be live on Monday the 5th at 11 a.m. Pacific on 12 Radio for the Jamie Dawn Show. And thank you again. All right, you guys, have a great week. We'll talk soon.